Hello, Gemini. Welcome or welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. We are talking about February 2022. I hope your year is starting off on a good foot. Is that the saying? It's interesting, this deck that I'm using this month kind of has me paying attention to the cards on the split. Like, before I start the videos, I shuffle the cards a bunch of times. I don't do that on camera because it's loud. And I don't, for whatever reason, it's like I just kind of keep getting brought to the attention of the cards that are on the split. And your cards was the High Priestess and the Hanged Man, which is awesome. It's very intuitively linked. So, I mean, you could be getting like some crazy downloads. You could be going through like a third eye opening, even a crown opening. I mean, you could be intending to do that. You know, the High Priestess kind of talks about our intuition and kind of just being connected to the universe juice. The Hanged Man talks about kind of being willfully in suspension to kind of see things from a different perspective, but it still talks about kind of like almost like enlightenment, or you know, the Hanged Man generally has like a halo around its head and it's like hanging from one foot. That's not how it's depicted in this deck. But the traditional artistry is, you know, he's hanging from one foot on, I think it's a cross or something. But calmly, like there's no stress, you know, like visible on their face or anything, you know. So it's, again, like I said, just willfully being suspended. So, you know, that combination, you could just be also like maybe even just waiting for an intuitive feeling on a direction to go in. I started getting actually a stomach ache as I was kind of feeling into that energy, and generally I kind of have like a nervous stomach, I guess you can say. So, you know, I mean, there could just be like big decisions that are coming up, or big decisions that you've been just kind of like mulling over recently too, and you're just wanting to use your intuition to navigate those decisions, and also maybe even just trying to navigate those decisions in a different manner than you would have maybe prior, which is kind of like, you know, the Hanged Man coming into play, like, you know, kind of seeing it from a different perspective, but also maybe responding to your external in a different way, which is awesome, right? Like any type of disruption that we bring to our habits or our behaviors, just, you know, like it almost like kind of forces us to grow. And it makes it possible for there to be a different result, right? So we're already 4 minutes in. So let's get going. Same as last month. And if you are new, I'll just kind of explain really quick. We do kind of a 4-card spread, a minimum of 4 cards, I guess. The center card is our current energy. To the left of that is any potential blocks. Underneath is any advice to clear the block. And then the last card is kind of the energy that we're heading into. We only take 1 card at a time. We'll take 2 if they come out together. Any more than 2, we'll put them back in the deck. So we want the message to be super clear. The cards do have to fall out of the deck. And so I apologize if there's just more shuffling needed. But, you know, I mean, the cards have to put themselves wherever they need to be to fall out. So we trust the process. I don't shuffle reversals into the deck, but if the card falls out and ends up in the reverse, we'll leave it in the reverse. I mean, if she wants to be in the reverse, you know, I'm not going to force her to be anything other than reverse. And if they flip in the deck, we'll just flip them over. Because again, I think I might have already said they need to actually fall out of the deck. So let's get going. What's the current energy for Gemini? Current energy for Gemini. What month away? February. So current energy going into February for Gemini. They were chatty during the pre-shuffle and now they want to be shy. Do you guys not want to talk about it yet? It's almost kind of like, you know, I was saying, like, you know, I was kind of getting a stomach ache. It's like, I don't know. I mean, maybe you don't want to talk about it yet, which I get. I don't think you have to share everything anyway, really. I mean, you know, it's nobody's business. But for the purpose of this tarot reading, we do need you to talk. So let's see. Current energy for Gemini. So we have the Five of Cups and the Chariot. Honestly, I mean, like right off the bat, I'm kind of getting this feeling of like avoidance almost. Again, like I said, you know, like there might just be some kind of bigger decisions that are coming up in your life, or maybe that you're already aware of. And this combination to me, just like I said, just kind of feels like avoidance. The Five of Cups, you know, talks about, you know, again, with the cups being our emotions, the fives are generally considered more of like kind of the conflict cards, but conflict in the way of like kind of forcing change, really. But in this depiction, we have four cups, or four bowls, I guess, that are empty, three that are for sure empty, one that she's kind of like spilling out there, and then there's one back here that is kind of full of, you know, all these colors, and maybe there's some happiness in there. So you know, I mean, there could just be like a focus on quote unquote a focus on the negative here. And the Chariot, just kind of as it's displayed, talks about like fast movement forward. So again, you know, I mean, like I said, just the immediate energy that I'm getting from it is a little bit of avoidance. And we have the Five of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. The Five of Pentacles talks about lack, or kind of feeling left out in the cold almost. In this depiction, it's like, you know, they might feel like they're like locked away in this room. I mean, you could be feeling kind of lonely. Maybe you just kind of feel like whatever the situation is, you have to go at it alone, which is hard. You know, I mean, it looks like, you know, and then we have two fives anyway, which is significant also. But I mean, you know, like there is a key here. So just like with both of these cards, there is an option I guess. Like, you know, you have a key. I'm making an assumption that it fits in this door. So, you know, you could just grab the key, put it in the door. Right? And same with the 5 of Cups over here. I mean, you could focus on the information that you do have, or you know, like even maybe just focusing on different decisions, and like no, maybe not even focusing on these emotions or whatever that are kind of bringing you down. And then we have the Judgment underneath that. Judgment does kind of talk about like elevation, enlightenment, like I was kind of saying with the Hanged Man. But I love this depiction. It's just kind of like, you know, this out of body experience. Like I kind of see this as like a higher self type situation. So, you know, I mean, it could be one of those situations where you kind of just maybe need to release the control on it, and let the pieces fall wherever they may. I feel like there's like a saying around that I, of course, can't think of right now. So let's see what the block is. What's the block for Gemini? Yeah. We have the Lovers. Now, the Lovers, of course, can talk about relationships, but it's more so about like navigating decisions. And then we have the 7 of Cups at the bottom of the deck, which is, again, with the decisions. So I don't know. I'm just going to kind of stick with that. I just kind of feel like there's kind of these big decisions that are coming up around you. Of course, I mean, you know, like it could signify a relationship. I mean, I don't want to just totally gloss over that. This very well could be a decision about a relationship. You know, I mean, you could be unhappy in this relationship, or maybe you're trying to decide where your feelings are in a relationship. You know, with the High Priestess and even the Hanged Man, I mean, like you could have gone through kind of, you know, like your own significant growth, and maybe your partner hasn't, and maybe, you know, you kind of want to take off. And you have, you know, goals or plans, or, you know, whatever, you see a vision for your future, and maybe, you know, like your significant other doesn't. But anyway, so, you know, it can definitely signify, just, you know, like within a relationship, you know, I mean, and with the Lovers coming up in the blocked position, it could be that there is a relationship in your life that is kind of holding you back from pursuing certain goals that you have. But like I said, you know, the Lovers also signifies decisions, the masculine, feminine, you know, kind of, you know, like needing to kind of balance out those energies, and, you know, kind of where and how to do that. And then we, like I said, we have the 7 of Cups at the bottom, cups being emotions. You could also be like this could also have to do with a water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. But the 7 of Cups is, you know, kind of having all of these options, and, you know, like he's like, I don't know, like, how do I feel about this one, or, you know, so again, and then we have the 10 of Pentacles underneath that. This could have to do with family. This also could just have to do with like, wanting to make the best decisions for your future with your family, kind of setting yourself up to be in a good place. The Pentacles have to do with money. It has to do with our physical body too. So it could have something to do with health. So, it could be just making decisions to get you to a certain place that you have envisioned for your life. And those are big decisions. And especially, like if you do have somebody else in your life, even just kind of like coming together and, like making those decisions together, I mean, that's not always easy. But those uncomfortable conversations are some of the most important conversations that we can ever have, right? And I'm just kind of being drawn to the fact that we do have men and women in this situation already. We have a woman here that's kind of like, I don't know, like, I'm kind of working through my feelings on this. We have, a man on top of this chariot, and maybe, that's significant to where, like maybe the man just wants to kind of take off, like easy breezy, let's just go, let's just, like do it. And then, like that could be what's causing the turmoil. I just wanted to throw that out there because that was being pointed out to me. All right, so what is the advice for Gemini? Oh, there's that Hanged Man. And the Seven of Cups is still at the bottom. Sorry, I'm like a little OCD with like, I want it to be straight. The Hanged Man. See, it's just awesome that, it was in the pre-shuffle and still decided to come out in the actual reading. But, the feelings that I'm getting from the Hanged Man, especially in the advice position, is don't be hasty, for one. Like, don't, kind of rush to judgment. Because again, like I was saying before with the Hanged Man, it talks about seeing things from a different perspective. And willfully being in suspension. Like it doesn't look like she's in any pain. It doesn't look like she's stressed by any means. If anything, she looks relaxed. So, I mean, there could be just some information that maybe hasn't presented itself yet. I'm just kind of like getting that with these symbols down here. In this depiction of the Hanged Man, there's kind of like this starburst coming from her head region where, like I said, it's usually like a halo. But I always kind of get this feeling of like, don't, try not to be rigid in your thinking. Try not to just kind of, attach yourself to a thought and that's it. Like, really try to keep an open mind about whatever either the situation is or whatever these decisions are that are coming up for you, whatever this is. Because again, here we go with the Seven of Cups. And now we have the Three of Cups underneath it. And again, with the cups, right? Like, I mean, this is very much about like your feels and how, like you might be just kind of feeling about the whole situation. So again, I mean, just really try your best to kind of see the situation from all angles and also allow new information to come in. Like, allow yourself, that's where the open mind thing comes into play. Like, allow yourself to see things from many different perspectives. And we have the Three of Cups underneath it. And that could be, I mean, it's usually like our friend group. So, I mean, that could be, maybe getting together with your girls and, like maybe just kind of mulling it over with them. Now, again, I think I might've mentioned it before. Yeah, I think I did. I can't even remember 20 minutes ago. But there is absolutely no obligation to put everything out on the table with anybody, at least until you feel ready to do so. I'm not saying like go around like being sneaky or lie or, whatever, but like, I also understand that like we may not want our family and friends to know everything about everything, right? And that's totally okay. I used to be one of those people where I would just share absolutely everything, totally open book. There was nothing that I would just kind of keep close to my chest. And then what I realized was that, like people, because of course, like when you open that door, you are kind of inviting other people's opinions, their fears, their, like success stories, like their perspective on things. And there's a time and a place for that, just like with everything. So I've really kind of personally, like I've really tried to really kind of keep things to my chest or close to my chest until I feel it's kind of time to share those things. But that's kind of what I'm getting from this Three of Cups is maybe, there is a friend group or a couple friends that you have, or a friend that you have that you can maybe just be, they're kind of able to be a little bit more objective, and maybe you can just kind of bounce things off, because there's also something to be said about saying something out loud and hearing it, like when it's in our head, it can snowball into just being something completely unreasonable and just kind of be like larger than like it actually is. And then once you kind of say it out loud, it almost like, of course, like kind of takes the power away, but it also, like I said, it allows you to hear it from your ear and not from, whatever voice you have in your head and whatever stories, like fear stories, ego, blah, 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 all of those things that are also living in our head. So, again, like it could just be helpful for you to maybe find somebody just to kind of talk to. And even if you have to say, look, I just kind of need to say this. I just need to get it off my chest. I'm not really looking for advice. I'm just looking to vent and, like see if maybe you have a friend that understands that boundary and can literally just listen to you. Because some people are like, yeah, cool, I can do that. And then they're like, well, yeah, but, now I have all this advice, which I also get because, I've been there. I'm that person too. It's hard when you have an opinion to not say it. So anyway, where are we heading? What's next? What's the resolution? Maybe that's kind of coming to my mind for Gemini in February. This doesn't really seem like it's going to be something that's not like, it's not necessarily going to be resolved in February. I don't know, because as soon as I said like what's the resolution, I'm like, it may not be actually resolved in February, but it could be kind of on its way to being resolved. But let's just see, where are we heading next? What's next for Gemini? What's next for Gemini? Or what is the resolution? See? Yeah, see, like I said, I just don't necessarily see this like resolving by the end of February. We have the Five of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck again. Look at all these fives for one thing. So I get it. Like, I just, I totally understand, when these big decisions come up, especially the ones that, like, even affect your body. Like I was saying at the beginning, how, I was starting to get a stomach ache, just kind of that level of stress, like those big decisions that are coming up. But the Five of Swords is mental conflict. I mean, you could be still just kind of mulling over it. I mean, you can see, it almost to me like looks like he has like a headache. And then we have this other guy back here, and there's like, I don't know, is that blood? Like, is that the assumption that it's blood? So, I mean, again, this could have to do with family. Just kind of like the blood connection. And, just still kind of feeling like you don't really have a resolution to it. And again, I mean, that's just the unfortunate thing about these big decisions that come up in our life, right? Is that we should give them ample time to work themselves out. There's no rush in making this decision, although either you or somebody wants there to be a quick resolution to it, because like I said with the Chariot, it's kind of like, fast moving, let's just go. But we have the Five of Pentacles, and we have the Seven of Swords, and the Queen of Cups. The Seven of Swords kind of talks about being a little sneaky. It does talk about like manipulation also. I mean, it talks about like taking a risk also, but it's almost like a calculated risk, and it's also the type of risk that, like I was kind of saying before, you don't really share with people up front. And that could be kind of where the sneaky feeling kind of comes from, is that there's kind of this behind the scenes thing happening. But then we have the Queen of Cups, and there's that Ten of Pentacles again. So, this feeling to me with the Queen of Cups, and just kind of the juxtaposition between the Queen of Cups and, these three cards, is, again, like just being, almost just sinking into your feelings. I mean, the Queen of Cups, like, she is somebody who is very much connected with her feelings. The suit cards with the the Queen and the King, they do talk about, almost being psychic or intuitive. And, we had the High Priestess come up in the at the split. So, and just having her hands up the way that she does, it could just be, kind of surrendering to a certain extent, like surrendering to the decision. And, like I said, it's, nothing needs to be decided quickly. And if it does, try to take as much time as you can. Like I realize that there are some decisions that maybe you need to, are kind of being forced to make maybe a little bit quicker. And maybe that's what this is that maybe you feel the pressure to make a decision quick. But this to me is saying don't. If you can, don't. Like if you can stall or whatever, like this is just kind of being in suspension, like maybe suspend the decision for a second, or as long as you can, until you get the clarity that you need from it. I know this is rough, but again, I just want to mention, like self-care. I was mentioning before about like, the Three of Cups kind of showed up. So maybe there's some friends that you can kind of get together with and talk about, or, This is that like the artist or in now I'm starting to lose my words. The depiction of that snowball effect I was talking about, how, you know, if it stays in your head, it causes this, you know, kind of headachy feel. So, best of luck to you. Sending all the love. We'll get through it. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.